Okay, so I lied. It's more like a 6-month update. But please don't go. I can explain. And if you really have to go, go get a nice drink so you can join me as I share my top 15 lessons that I've learned while trying to build a freelancing business alongside my 9 to 5. It will be full of unfiltered thoughts and a bit more of a vlog style, and I can't wait to share it with you. If you've been following me, you know that I've been working on a freelancing business since about December 2024. But if we're honest, it actually started in June 2024, and if we're really being honest, it started way before that. While I was at university, about 8 years ago. I always wanted to have my own side hustle or business or something that I could call my own. Even while I was studying, I really tried a few ventures, and while I was working in the beginning years, I also had a few ventures, and all of these failed. So if you think that all my content looks polished and it looks like I know what I'm doing, I promise you this is built on a foundation of learning and a lot of failure. But here's some backstory. About 8 years ago, I started a tiny YouTube channel for math tutoring, and I grew it to 900 subscribers, and I had to shut it down last year because it was going nowhere and I niched down incorrectly. Then I also tried to create a family-owned business where we were selling dulce de leche. If you don't know what dulce de leche is, try it. It's amazing. You won't regret it. That also unfortunately failed. Then I had to relocate, move to a new continent, and I thought this was quite a difficult move and maybe I can help people do that. So I tried to start a relocation business where I could help people move more smoothly. This also failed. And then I hit a bit of a wall. I really lost all confidence in myself that I could make this work, and I was just kind of floating around for a few months. I was reading a lot of business books, I was watching a lot of business channels, and all of this, to be honest, I was just being an entrepreneur. Fast forward to June 2024. I was so over it. I had a really tough day at work, and I just decided that's it, I can't do it. Something in me is calling me to become an entrepreneur or have my own business, and I just have to listen to that. It's been calling my name since before I studied, and I ignored it, and it's just not working for me, so I really have to try. I recorded a super emotional video, which I don't think I'll share with anyone, but it was for me to keep myself accountable and to remember that I don't want to feel like that ever again. Then I heard about something called a digital business manager, and it's like the heavens opened and the angels were singing. I finally found something I thought I could do with some skill sets that I could already add to my service. This was amazing and unlike anything I've thought about before. So then I started preparing so that I could make my debut in December 2024. And this brings me to my first lesson. Start with something you know. When I was trying to start my relocation business, the knowledge gap was so large, it was overwhelming. I didn't know enough to actually offer a good service to any client, and I was trying to learn everything as I was going along. This is just not good. It leads to imposter syndrome, poor quality, a lot of stress, things you do not want. With a digital business management service, on the other hand, I already have a lot of foundational knowledge like project management, team management, remote work, some digital tools, client interfacing, and I know quite a bit about business strategy and things like that. And I can actually offer that to my clients while I'm learning a few other things, but it doesn't impact the core service I am providing. So I'm not against figuring things out as you go along. I really think it's important to learn as you go along and see where your gaps are. But I do also think you really need a good foundation to build from. So if you are going to do something completely new, a whole complete new side hustle or something out of your current scope of work, I would rather say set a few months aside for building the foundation, and then later when you have 3 or 4 months worth of knowledge, then start building your business on offering services alongside that. Lesson 2 is that this is tough and you should really want this. I question myself all the time. Why am I doing this to myself? I have 2 degrees. I studied really hard for those degrees. Those degrees brought me to a whole new continent, gave me an opportunity for a really good job, a very good salary, days off, and set vacations. Why do I choose to come home and work on a side hustle? Why can't I just be grateful for what I have? Why do I put myself through rejections, cold calls, learning so much about content strategy and content creation and why am I doing this? And the reason is I have a purpose. I have a why. And my purpose or my why for doing this is so much bigger than all of the struggles I am facing and all the late nights and tired mornings and all of these things. And if you want to do this, your why really has to be big. And if you really need a little bit of help with finding your why or leading people better, because your why is so important when you try to lead people, I would recommend the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It really helps you to figure out what your purpose is and how to convey that to other people and lead them better. So I'm not trying to discourage anyone. If you want to start a side hustle or a business, it's totally doable. It's just that it takes a lot of time. There are pressures. There are requirements. You have to grow your comfort zone, and it's not that easy. and there will be late nights, early mornings, sacrifices that need to be made. Lesson number 3 is don't compare yourself, and patience is key. This journey, as you can see, has taken me almost 8 years instead of the few months and weeks that you have seen online. I have failed multiple times at different businesses, and each time I've learned something new. But there is no overnight success, and if you think you are seeing it on Instagram and all the highlight reels of people's lives, it's not true. And I'm sorry to say, it really is not. There's no quick fix. It's hard work. You need to grow as a person, and you should not compare yourself to the highlight reels of everybody else's lives, because you do not know their network, their foundations, their skills. You do not know all the struggles they go through throughout the week to give you this polished content video. And maybe I'm also guilty of this, because here I am giving you a nice video. It's not quick. It takes a lot of time. The skills take time to develop. So do not be hard on yourself. Just take it as it comes and focus on your journey and nobody else's. And in some cases, though, I must also say you must learn that there is a place to quit. For my other YouTube channel, I took way too long to put that on hold, and it took away a lot of time from what I could have been doing. So if you are also struggling about knowing when to quit, I recommend reading the book The Dip by Seth Godin. It really just helps you to realize what is a project that is worth going, and that you're just in a moment where you are stuck and you should push through, or when you really should just stop. Lesson 4 is to treasure rejection and embrace feedback. Now this is a tough one. It's really difficult, but I learned this concept from Noah Kagan in his book, The $1 Million Weekend. I also believe that if you're going to put something out there for the internet to see, or for anybody to see, you are inviting criticism and feedback, and you need to be able to take it and listen to it. If you want to improve, if you want to grow really quickly, if you want to expand and increase your comfort zone, you just have to ask for feedback. You have to ask people to give you input. And it isn't nice. It's really tough. I still don't like it, but I promise you, the moment I started doing this, things have accelerated so much, and I've grown so much, and I've learned in so many ways that I didn't think was possible. Just a little caveat here though, if you are going to do it, don't take feedback from people you don't respect, who you don't want to be in their position, who doesn't do it in a nice way. They shouldn't be breaking you down to give you feedback. Make sure it is positive, because you're trying to build yourself up and improve. And if this person you are asking feedback for is just going to shoot you down or make you feel small and insecure, that is not a good way to go. Don't do that. And this leads me to lesson 5. Network and find your people. You need to network. And a lot of people tell me that being an entrepreneur or freelancer is lonely. I'm sorry, it is not. You make it lonely. If you want to do this, you need to change your life. You need to change the people who you surround yourself with, especially if you believe that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to build a business and none of the people around you are building businesses or freelancing, you need to find people who do that. And you can find people on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on free communities on Facebook, and in Discord. There are so many places you can go to find people who are like-minded. I recently, in a month and a half to 2 months, made so many online friends because I was willing to put myself out there. I took the first step and I actually contacted them instead of waiting for people to contact myself. You have to be proactive and you have to be willing to build this community. And like anything, this takes a lot of time and work. You have to put in the effort to speak to new people, but it is so worth it, because now I have feedback from people who think like me. I can learn from everyone around me, and they are also understanding the struggles I am going through, and they are motivating me and helping me to get through it. So I think it really is worth it to try and network and build this community for yourself. And think about it this way. If you are trying to build a new life, you really have to lose habits from your old life. You can't have both at the same time. You either decide you're going to grow and let go of all those fears that are holding you back and all the excuses you have, or you're going to grow and try and keep the most important values with you, but you are going to have to lose some things along the way. Lesson number 6 is to fall in love with the journey and not to give up. Freelancing and entrepreneurship aren't sprints, they're marathons. It is a long journey. There are going to be days where you have a lot of rejection, a lot of setbacks. Things aren't going to work out the way you envisioned. It's not going to happen as quickly as you thought it would. And you might see all these people doing amazing things and you are feeling stuck, or you feel that you're working so hard and you're not seeing a result. It's part of the process. And if you do not have a reason that you like doing the job or finding things that you like doing, you are going to burn out fast, especially if you're just in it for the result, like the big money or the X number of subscribers. It's not going to happen immediately, so you have to fall in love with small things every single day so that you can keep going. And also, if you are not doing that, you will eventually resent your business, because if you're not enjoying the process of building this business, you will hate it because you're not going to see the money immediately and you're not going to see all the followers immediately. So you need to find something that will help you not resent your business. For me, I really enjoy building systems. I love organizing things. I love learning. So learning about new strategies and content creation and management and things like that, I really enjoy it. So that keeps me going even through the days where I get rejections and setbacks and don't hear back from cold pitches. So that's just what you have to do. And also connecting with people who are like-minded has really helped me so that I don't feel like I'm the only one going through this. Lesson 7 is to set boundaries. And this is with yourself and with others. For yourself, or if you are like me, you need to really set boundaries so that you can stick to decent work-life balance. I enjoy what I do, so I would love to work every day. And I know that sounds crazy. I get it. That's not normal. So I need to make sure that I put boundaries in place for myself so I can rest, so I can exercise, so I can speak to people who are not just within a business circle. I do all of this so I can take care of myself and make sure that I'm not just throwing away all my mental health and relationships and things like that. But you also need to put boundaries in place for those around you. You are going to have to sacrifice time to work on your business. It's not always going to be that you can do everything with everybody, and you have to sometimes allocate time for your business, and you need people to respect that. So find a bit of a balance, but you need to set boundaries, otherwise you will not see progress. Lesson 8 is to find your blue ocean. So the blue ocean strategy is the whole idea that you need to go to a place where there's not a lot of competition. Do not compete in overcrowded areas. For instance, I could be going to Upwork and Fiverr and offering my services there because that's where a lot of freelancers go. However, that is the red ocean. Everybody is competing there. And if you've tried Upwork, you basically pay for the services. You are constantly there trying to cold pitch people, but 20, 30, 40 other people are competing with you for one job. The person who is looking for someone is going to take very long to reply to you or not even look at your application. So don't go there. Create a place for yourself with your unique value proposition and go and put yourself out there in a way or a place where you can actually be seen. And I get that Instagram and YouTube are also overcrowded, but you can really find your niche and people actually tune into you instead of looking at everybody all the time. So if you want to do this, you need to really go sit and think, what is unique about me? What is my unique spicy sauce? What can I do? And how can I apply this to my job or freelancing career, and how can I make myself stand out? The next lesson is lesson 9, and that is to focus on what you can control. So a lot of us have all these lofty goals. I want 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and I want to have so many followers, or I want to make an X revenue goal. You need to focus on what you can control. I cannot control how many people subscribe to me, but I can control how much content I put out, how I polish my content, how much research I put into my content. Do I make my content valuable? All these kind of things. So you really need to learn to measure your success by your efforts and not always the outcome. And this kind of ties back to the other lesson I had where you need to enjoy the process. Because again, if I just link all my success to the outcomes, I will not feel successful in anything I do or productive or happy with what I'm producing during the weeks and months where I do not necessarily get the results I want. And I'm not saying just go out there blindly and say, oh, well, I am posting so much content, so I should be getting followers. Nobody owes you their time. It's a sad fact. Nobody out there on the internet owes you their time. So you need to make sure that you improve and learn and actually speak to the right people. That's your responsibility. And again, that is the effort you can put into creating the outcome you want. Lesson number 10 is for rest and solitude. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm not very good at the resting part. I'm really still working on this, but you need to make sure that you look after yourself so that you do not burn out. You need to make sure that you have enough time for sleeping, for exercising, meditating, and just enjoying life. You're not your business, okay? The other thing is to not constantly fill your time with learning. I understand as a business owner or freelancer, you want to stay on top of all the trends. You want to know what's going on. You want to build this business because you just have this small amount of time outside of your 9 to 5 to build this. I get it. But if you cram your brain up all the time with so much information that you do not have time to process it, you are not going to be as effective as you can be. So sometimes instead of going for a walk with a podcast playing, just go for a walk. Let your mind wander. You will get so many fresh ideas because your brain actually has time to collate all the information from the podcasts and the books and the YouTube videos so that you can actually come up with fresh new ideas for your own business. It is a difficult balance to strike because you also need to learn. You really do need to keep track of what's going on the market and what people are doing and what new trends are happening. And you want to learn to improve your content, but you cannot do it all the time. You're one person, you're not a machine. And I'm saying this to you as much as I'm saying this to myself. Lesson 11 is to be open to new things and to try new things. Growth comes from stepping outside of your comfort zone. For instance, I hated connecting to people first. I don't like DMing people. I hate cold pitching. I find it very difficult to do. I do not like putting stories up every single day. I do not like creating content about my personal life. The list can go on. It doesn't matter. The point is you want to connect with people. You want to build an audience. You want to have people look at you and work with you instead of just your portfolio, or you want them to connect with you so that when they see the content you poured your heart and soul and hours into, they actually feel that there is a connection. It means you have to do things you're not always comfortable with. Now, I'm not saying go and take your values and throw them in the bin, or your boundaries and throw them in the bin, but I am saying that sometimes you're going to have to do things you do not like so that you can grow. For instance, go to a networking event, DM somebody first, and if you are scared about the rejection, remember, rejection is treasure. You get feedback from it. And if you think something bad's going to happen, probably not. People are actually really open and supportive once you try and speak to them. Go in with genuine interest and curiosity, and you really will see that there's a massive difference. So just try whatever you want to do and make it small, manageable steps. So don't go and say, oh, I want to make 20 YouTube videos, and you've never spoken to a camera before. Rather, instead of doing that, go and film yourself every single day. Just talk to the camera about your day and see how you become more and more comfortable. And you can do small things like that to grow your comfort zone. And again, I know this is really difficult. I still struggle with it. But the more you practice putting yourself out there, the more your comfort zone grows and the more you believe in yourself and you start achieving what you really want to do. Lesson 12, be willing to invest. And here I mean your time, resources, energy, money. I mean it all. If you're not willing to invest your time into your business, it's not going to work. If you're not willing to buy some tools that you need so you can save time or make your life easier, it's also going to be very difficult. For instance, I'm not saying spend thousands and thousands of dollars. I think in total I've spent maybe $400 on what I'm doing. I'm filming with my phone. I use a $30 tripod, and I have a microphone that is also not very expensive. You do not need to invest a lot, but you do have to invest some money into making your processes easier. And if you are growing your business, you cannot do everything alone. You need to invest into some teams or people who can help you get things going. Even if it's a mentor, if it doesn't have to be full term, but you cannot do everything alone, you cannot know everything. So it is better, I found, to rather invest in a tool to make things quicker so that I save time so I can focus on something that's important. But finally, at lesson 13, sometimes it is important to look at self-care as you doing the work. I know that we all have this idea that self-care is bubble baths and a nice cup of tea and going on a holiday and just bed rotting. That is important, but if you are doing all of that and you're just stressing about the things you need to do, you're not having self-care. You're not actually enjoying your time. You need to make sure that you get your highest priority items categorized so that you know what you need to do and what is really important, and then you need to do them or plan to do them so that when you do relax, you actually can enjoy it. And if you're struggling with this concept, I recommend the book Working Hard, Hardly Working by Grace Beverly, where she really explores this idea and also gives you some productivity tips. But really, sometimes just getting the thing done, especially if it takes 5 to 10 minutes, is going to make you feel so much better than just relaxing and not doing anything and telling yourself you deserve a little break because you worked hard. Not trying to be rude, you definitely deserve a break and rest, but it isn't going to be beneficial if you are stressing about other things while you're supposed to rest. That's the point. Number 14 is to just do it. Now, sometimes you have a cool idea, a cool dream, a cool thing you want to see, or something you just want to test, and then instead of just going to do it, you stop and you overthink it, and you need to go read a book, and you want to go learn about it, and you want to watch 10 YouTube videos. Stop. Just try it. A lot of things you do need a foundational knowledge for, but there's a lot of times where you can just go and try it and learn what you need along the journey. So just try it before your overthinking can get in the way of you producing anything, before you get too scared to ask, before you get too scared to put on the camera, before you get too scared to press publish on that video. Sometimes you just need 5 seconds of random courage and confidence to just get the thing done, and you'll see that it wasn't so bad. So shorten the time between your execution and ideas. Try and do that, and it also keeps imposter syndrome at bay because you're not overthinking. My final and favorite lesson is lesson 15, and that is to find other hobbies. You cannot just do business, okay? That's great. I love working on business. As I said, I could speak about it all day, every day, and strategize and think about new things. However, if you sometimes look at things outside of your field or your scope of work or your industry, you will find so much inspiration. So if you are ever having a creativity block and you do not know what to do, you can really just go for a walk outside or look at how another industry is doing marketing, or go and talk to somebody who's not even close to your business. Go out for a coffee with a friend and do not discuss business related things. Go to a museum. Go look at something that you normally never look at. And you will come back refreshed, your brain would have relaxed, and you can just have a lot more ideas and maybe bring in a new strategy or perspective that you never would have thought about before because you were just consuming content or constantly looking at just your business. So that is what I would really recommend you do to make yourself a bit more wholesome, a bit more balanced, and a bit fresher or more creative. And people will see that in your content because you may be coming from a new, unique angle that they've never seen, or maybe the way you are showing your content for this industry is so fresh and new because you are not bogged down by all the conventions and rules and things from that industry. And how I do this, I go to book club, I go to read books about just stories, like normal stories, fiction, historical fiction, or I go to the museum, or I go for coffee with a friend who isn't like remotely interested in business, or I go watch a movie. Just doing something fun every now and again is really going to be useful. And those are all my lessons, everybody. I really hope that these lessons helped you. And if you have another lesson that you think is useful for freelancers, please let me know in the comments, or at least if you think one of these lessons helped you, let me know. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on Instagram and YouTube for the next video. Thank you. Bye.